Did you know that the most important cell for getting a great night's sleep
Isn't actually a neuron?
Yeah, for decades, scientists thought this cell was basically just the brain's glue. Turns out, they were totally wrong. Welcome to Sleeppedia, a little corner of the internet dedicated to the science of sleep and circadian rhythms. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the real star performers in your brain and how you can help them give you the best sleep of your life.
Okay, let's get right into it.
I mean, just think about that for a second. We've always been so focused on neurons, the brain's flashy superstars. But the real key to feeling truly rested, to waking up feeling sharp and refreshed, it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time, in a cell that makes up almost half of our brain. So, what is this mystery cell?
All right, it's time to meet the unsung hero of your sleep story, the astrocyte. We're about to figure out exactly what these incredible cells do, how they literally manage your entire sleep-wake cycle, and why giving them a little support might be the single best sleep hack you've ever tried.
So the name itself, astrocyte, literally means star cell. And that's because, under a microscope, they have this incredible star-like shape. For over 100 years, scientists kind of wrote them off as just support structures. Like packing peanuts for the neurons, the cells that really mattered. But what we know now is that they aren't the scenery. They're the directors of the whole show.
And what's wild is just how much they do, even beyond sleep. Astrocytes are the ultimate multitaskers. Think of them as a pit crew, delivering fuel from your blood directly to your hardworking neurons. They're also the cleanup crew, tidying up all the chemical leftovers after neurons talk to each other. And maybe the coolest part? They act like network administrators, fine-tuning how neurons communicate. They're crucial for learning, for memory, for pretty much everything your brain does.
So, let's get into their first big role in our sleep story, their daytime job. All day long, while you're working and thinking and just living your life, your astrocytes are quietly building up that feeling of needing to sleep.
It all starts with a chemical called adenosine. The best way to think about it is like a sleep timer. From the moment your eyes open in the morning, adenosine starts to build up, slowly and steadily, in your brain. This buildup creates what scientists call sleep pressure. It's that growing, undeniable feeling of tiredness that gets stronger every hour you're awake.
And who's in charge of this whole operation? Who's the conductor of this sleepiness symphony? You guessed it, your astrocytes. They are the main source and manager of adenosine. They release it all day long, basically sending a slow and steady signal to your brain that says, hey, we've been on for a while, maybe it's time to start winding down.
And this explains our relationship with coffee perfectly. So imagine your brain cells have little parking spots, or receptors, just for adenosine. When adenosine parks in those spots, you feel sleepy. Well, caffeine is a master imposter. It looks just enough like adenosine that it can sneak in and steal all the parking spots. It blocks the real adenosine from getting in, which is why you suddenly feel awake. But here's the kicker. The adenosine doesn't go away. It's still there, just circling the block, waiting for a spot to open up. That's why we get that awful caffeine crash. Once the caffeine wears off, all that adenosine that's been building up comes rushing into the receptors at once, and that sleep pressure hits you like a ton of bricks. And look, this isn't just a nice theory. A huge study published in the journal Nature back in 2021 basically proved it. Researchers showed that when they messed with the astrocytes in mice, that normal, healthy buildup of adenosine just didn't happen. And the result? The mice got way less deep restorative sleep. So the takeaway is clear. A healthy drive to sleep depends directly on healthy, happy astrocytes.
Okay, so building up your sleep drive is the astrocyte's day job. But what happens when you finally close your eyes and drift off? Well, that's when they clock in for their second and maybe even more important shift, the night shift. It's time for the brain's nightly deep clean.
This whole cleanup process has a super cool name, the glymphatic system.
You can think of it as your brain's super efficient overnight janitorial service. Its job is to flush out all the metabolic waste and junk that builds up while you're awake. And here's the crucial part. This system is up to 10 times more active only when you are sound asleep.
And your astrocytes are the engineers that make this whole thing possible. It's this amazing three-step dance. First, as you fall into deep sleep, your astrocytes actually shrink. They pull in their little star-like arms and reduce their size by up to 60%. It's incredible. Second, by shrinking, they open up these huge channels between your brain cells. It's like opening the floodgates of a dam. And finally, clean spinal cerebral fluid comes rushing into these new pathways, powerfully washing through your brain and carrying away toxic gunk, including a protein called amyloid-beta, which you've probably heard of because it's linked to Alzheimer's. Your astrocytes literally orchestrate a brainwash every single night.
So learning all this is one thing, but what can you actually do to help them? Well, the great news is you have a ton of control. You can be the sidekick to your brain's own superhero. So let's get practical and walk through 7 simple things you can do to help your astrocytes win the night.
First up, consistency. Your astrocytes love a routine, so a regular sleep schedule is your #1 tool. Second, hydration. That brainwashing fluid is mostly water, so stay hydrated for a good rinse cycle. Third, the caffeine rule. You got to cut it off 8 to 10 hours before bed so adenosine can do its job. Fourth, get into darkness. The blue light from our screens can actually interfere with the signals that tell your astrocytes it's time to shrink. Fifth, create the perfect stage for deep sleep. A cool, dark, and quiet room is what you're aiming for. Sixth, a little moderate exercise during the day improves circulation, which helps that cleanup crew work better. And finally, an anti-inflammatory diet, think lots of fruits and veggies, creates a healthier brain for your astrocytes to thrive in.
So the real takeaway here is this. All that sleep hygiene advice you've heard your whole life isn't just some vague suggestion. Every single one is a direct action that supports these specific, hardworking cells. When you support your astrocytes, you are literally helping your brain build sleep pressure properly during the day and deep clean itself effectively at night.